It's the 35th anniversary of the Tri-C JazzFest. What started out to be a project with students and involving the college in a very significant way and the student body was wonderful, but what really made it was a small gesture that became a very big deal to the jazz community.
I have a lot of memories of the Jazz Fest year after year and how it's sort of evolved and grown. And to me, that's sort of the peak and the highlight of the season. You know, this is when the world's attention is on Cleveland.
I think it's fantastic that so many musicians showed up to duplicate the photo that was taken in 1958 in Harlem, New York, on a Sunday morning after all the musicians played on a Saturday night.
To see this many of our friends all gathered, this never happens, to get this many musicians in one place, because we all are busy with our own lives and, you know, working our own gigs, and to see this many people and old friends, players that, you know, I grew up listening to and playing with, and current friends, and also there's a nice representation of the young people that are out there now. I see a lot of students or recent graduates of the jazz studies programs are out there, so this is a multi-generational jazz event.
I think it's really cool. I think it's a nice part of history, you know, to keep going. And, you know, years from now, it'll be cool to look back and see all of our colleagues and professors and people we've played with.
My name is Paul Lewis, and I'm a native Clevelander. And I've always been a fan of jazz music as a result of my parents. And I had a subscription Esquire magazine as a very young man, and I thought I would bring it because this is the publication where the picture first appeared in 1959, where a great day in Harlem. This is the picture in the magazine, okay? So I thought I would bring it here today to share with any who might be interested.
What we know now as the rock and roll capital of the world was quite different. It was a jazz city, and there were not only jazz clubs, but jazz was involved in the popular music of the time. So in one way or another, jazz was all over the place. It was a great time for a young musician to be coming up. Late 50s, early 60s.
Everybody who was anybody in jazz played the Palace Theater at some point.
Before they started showing movies at the Palace, there was live music. And then after the theater shut down and went into renovation, they started playing jazz again. I mean, I remember seeing Nancy Wilson at the Palace. I had to buy a $5 ticket. People were still like on scaffolding, working on the walls while you were there for the concert. So there's a significance to that, and putting them on that staircase, that grand staircase, which is really beautiful. It's a beautiful historic building.
As a kid, I saw Harry James in this theater. I also saw Spike Jones in this theater. When you were a music fan, you just lived, ate, and breathed music. At least I did.
When I started, it was a while ago. And I was more into the music than into the vocals. You know, Coltrane and Miles Davis and all that, so that was my influence.
The club scene is, for classic jazz, is not as active as it used to be, but there are opportunities. And there are opportunities to sing other types of music, so I've just used those opportunities to broaden my repertoire.
I think it's a little more thriving today, you know? It's true, there's always very few places for especially jazz artists to go out and really hone their craft. You have to kind of seek out possibilities, and sitting in with players who have been out for a while when you're just starting out, this was really integral in my development.
I grew up in an age where we didn't have the real book. We didn't have jazz education classes. We didn't have degrees in jazz. You listened to somebody, and you listened to somebody that you liked, and you tried to learn to do what they did. You tried to learn. I mean, I played with Charlie Parker dozens of times, and I've never met the man.
Practice. That's the biggest thing. You know, you got to work it. You got to work at your craft. There's no easy way around it. You know, even if you're a genius or you're very talented, if you don't practice and work at your craft, you're never going to master it.
It's great to be around young people because there is such, the growth energy, is the desire to learn is so strong. However, at the same time, young people continually do stupid things. They don't know how to go about getting what they want. They just know that they want to know. But so they go out and they do dumb things. I would try to, in some way, if I could ever do it, to try to like diminish some of the stupid things that I did, and there were quite a few of them.
You're always feeding off of the energies of youth and the wisdom of the experienced people.
I would say, be serious about, know that this is what you want to do, because it's not always easy.
No.
And and again, if you're going to do this music, do it from your heart. Don't just sing a song because somebody like it. Sing a song because you like it. Because when you love it and you sing it, everybody else can feel that. So it comes from within. So that's my advice to a lot of singers that want to perform, but also not to be afraid to go around the musicians on jam sessions and ask, can you sing a song? Because I only knew 2 songs when I started. And, it worked for me. I knew 4. You knew 4. And it worked for me.
What does a young musician need to do? The principal thing that a young musician needs to do is to love it. If the young musician loves this, has to do it because they love it so much, there will be a place for that musician, but you got to love it.
I think a lot of the musicians in this area feel like our community is somewhat fragmented. So simple stuff like this helps get people together, everyone seeing the faces.
Great day in Cleveland, just as it says.
Absolutely.
Because these musicians haven't seen one another for a long time. Some have never seen each other at all. In playing this music, we pass like ships in the night, all right? Because we're all working at the same time. And it's hard to get together. So here's an opportunity for us to see one another.